Right then, this is the first British E-plate ever for Micromax UK. This is going to be, well, a driver's making history here, quite literally, in the Rotax categories. The first ever English champion. Who could it be? Because, well, I mean, eyes would point to Emerson McAndrew-Urin, who, you know, dominated everything out there and did well. But in the pre-final, finished second. So Spencer would be starting on pole for this one. So Ollie Spencer, despite the fact that he has had a second and a fourth over this one, he won the pre-final, so that helped him out massively. And yeah, that certainly would be what he needs to do. There's a couple more grids that are coming into the commentary box here, which is good. Ian Rogers, timing, and well, Ian Rogers from Motorsport Timing, delivering there. Well, it was actually Shay who delivered, who assists in the area of timing for your timing needs. So Ian and Shay in there. There is Emerson McAndrew-Urin, who starts this one on the front row. And again, one of the favourites going into this weekend. He's got Maximilian Abrahart starting just behind one of the RCE drivers. I'm curious to see what Maximilian Abrahart can do in this one, because has had some good pace.
Yeah, he had a strong
heat
as well and some fastest laps.
He did. I mean, he was fourth in qualifying, 9th and 7th, but then in the superheat came through and, yeah, finished in P4. So he's got a good starting spot there. The same as Theo Bradshaw. Now, remember, there are two drivers in this one doing the double, Kean Bernard and Theo Bradshaw. Bernard, who gained or had that penalty, I think, and breakdown. And, yeah, unfortunately, he went to the back of the grid. Unfortunately, the GP plate starts this one. But
as well as Buddy Hugo at the back of the grid, so that should make this interesting with those two very fast drivers definitely hoping to move through.
It certainly should, shouldn't it? So we've got two drivers who are very quick at the front, we've got two drivers who are very quick at the back, and it's a one-off race. Me suspects there could be some action in this.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Predictions? I'm going to throw you in at the deep end here. Ailey, who do you think? Who are you putting your money on?
I think that Oliver Spencer is going to hold on to it.
You think Spencer's going to hold on to it? Right.
He's been solid over the weekend, and he was definitely feeling confident when we talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
So I think maybe some changes for the lead throughout the race, but I think he's gonna pull it back. As
a professional commentator, it's my point now to tell you that you never predict on anyone. No, I'm kidding. But there you go. I threw you in the deep end. You went for it. No, I was there. It could be anyone. It could literally be any one of these drivers. This is the beautiful thing about these one-off race weekends, is that you just don't know who's going to win. We see it at, you know, at Kart Masters with the GP plate, with how competitive it is. You see it at the O plate as well, in some of the other categories, how technical it can be, and it all falls down to that final lap. There you can see Spencer getting the last few words of encouragement before this final gets underway. 12 minutes, these finals, and you're thinking, Anthony, why on earth are these finals less time than what the Bambinos just did? And they're a younger driver. Well, I'll tell you this, is that the Bambinos and the TKMs, they are racing for a championship this weekend. For the E-plates and the O-plates, they are a one-off race weekend. They just get a 12-minute final. As we get ready to go for this race, the grids will be coming up very, very soon. So we will cut to that now. It is Micromax coming up. Micromax coming up next. Let's take you through the starting order then for this one. Oliver Spencer and Emerson McAndrew-Urin starting this one on the front row. It could be either of those two drivers. It could be either of these two drivers as well. Theo Bradshaw and Maximilian Abrahart, who start on the second row of the grid, or Sebastian Behrman and Arthur Farrow. They go from row 3.
On row 4, we've got Akil Giannone, Ralph Rakitis, Mason Brooks on row 5, and Leo Livings. And then rounding out the grid, we've got Buddy Hugo and Kean Bernard on row 6. Two
very quick drivers who know what they need to do out there, and that is gain positions. So what can they do in this one as drivers? Well, there's some vigorous tyre warming techniques going on out there from one side of the track to the other. But there we go. Reese Foxy 10 says, how do you get good at karting the amount of practice? Grammatically, that made no sense, but I'll do my best to answer it.
Don't be mean to the children on the stream.
No. Basically, yeah, it is just a case of practice. You know, there's always test days on at circuits. You know, if you've got wagon, you know what you need to do. But then there's a lot of people out there who would get driver tuition as well. A lot of people help out with driver tuition. I know Ollie Varney that we spoke to last night. Kart Smart, he helps out with driver tuition as well. So
I imagine just watching the races as well.
Yeah,
watching a stream like this.
Yeah.
So you're already
there. You go. You're already learning. You're already learning. There we go. There we go. So looking forward to this one. Jason Living's on the live chat as well, saying good luck to Leo Living's dad watching. So lots of support out there. Do get your support coming in. Is track limits not enforced this weekend? Well, there's no lasers out on circuit to determine track limits. I suspect there will be checks from here and there, but I don't think they're fully enforced at the moment. Again, possibly. Don't listen to me fully. Here we go then. First E-plate of the weekend. Who's going to take it? It's green lights out. Here they go. Down and towards turn one. Good start from Spencer. Holds on to the lead. Macandrew Uren dips into second place. And now it's side by side in the background. Maximilian Aberhart looking to go for third place, but he has to concede with P4. And it is a good start for Bradshaw. He holds on to third place. So they all make their way through Oblivion and up into Christmas Corner for the first time unscathed. And Spencer leads the way. Aberhart looking to the inside, and there comes Mason Brooks down the inside. Brooks and the number 84 getting past the number 37 of Sebastian Behrman. Sebastian Behrman doing a good job still. He's had a good weekend, and he actually retakes the spot there from Brooks. So Brooks running a little wide out of the corner of Ashby. Retakes it going in towards Wilkins into the boot section for the first time, and it is still Spencer who leads the way from Emerson Macandrew Uren. He is not going for the battle yet, as again down the inside looks Aberhart, but can't do it on Bradshaw. Doesn't have the waft out of the corner, so he has to hold on to that one. So it's Spencer from Uren, from Bradshaw, from Aberhart, Farrow, Brooks, Behrman. Rakitic had a good start to P8, but Kean Bernard, he's up to P9 already. Look at the positions he's gained already in that one.
He clearly had a good start.
Yeah, very good start. Him and Mason Brooks both gaining 3 positions in the early stage of this race.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes to go, or just over 10 minutes, plus that one lap as we go on to lap number 2 now. And Mason Brooks running very wide and off the track. That was self-inflicted, and he comes back onto the circuit. Those tyres don't look like they're up to temperature at the moment. They are struggling for grip, and right now he falls down the order just that little bit. So right now, keep a close eye on that one, as Arthur Farrow and Behrman still going side by side there.
Yeah, we did see some desperate tyre warming techniques on the iLab. So
we did. Just a little bit of tyre warming.
Possibly struggling a little bit there.
Yeah, you'd be amazed with the air temperature being 24 degrees.
Yeah.
Track temperature would be somewhat higher. I suspect probably around the 30, maybe 40 degree temperature, the track temperature out there. So in the baking sun. But Spencer still doing a good job leading the way, and Kean Bernard again making the moves just in the background there as we keep an eye on Brooks. This time around much nicer there. I think tyres starting to look a little bit better and potentially going even for a move there, and he is. Down the inside, Mason Brooks getting past Arthur Farrow and moving up into P5. So despite that off, he's recovered very quickly as Mason Brooks.
Yeah.
So gaining several positions there.
Yeah, he luckily bounced back onto the track in quite a good position.
He did, yeah. So luckily for him, the grass is very dry now after the morning dew that we had. It was very slippery out there. So Maximilian Aberhart now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's currently there in P4 at the moment. So we've got 2 by 2 at the moment. So as Aberhart looks to the inside, the door closed from Bradshaw. Bradshaw denying Aberhart a chance to get down the inside, and crucially, that means he's dropped off now. So he's got to be careful. He's focus up again, close that gap, work together, try and close up to these two ahead, because you don't want Spencer and Emerson Macandrew to break away. But a slight mistake there from Bradshaw, I think. Just he looked over the shoulder going into Wilkins and then just missed the exit curb there.
Yeah. Sometimes I do wonder that when they're constantly checking behind them, if it throws off their balance at all, because it's such a fast track and they're constantly having to plan for the next entrance, the next corner.
Yeah, well, they certainly, it does distract them a little bit, yeah, because we always say whenever we talk about this, never look behind you, because that's always where you're going to end up.
Yep.
You're always going to end up going backwards if you start looking behind you, so you have to focus. Granted, a check over the shoulder to see if an inside is clear or an outside is clear, 100%, but a big look over the shoulder to look backwards, yeah. You don't want to be doing things like that.
Kean Bernard is up to P5 already.
Yes. Oh, look at the damage to that front nose cone, though.
Yeah, it's looking a little uneven.
Looking uneven is a good way to describe it, but crucially, it looks like it's been pushed up. so not down. So if anything, that it doesn't benefit him, but it means that he possibly doesn't have a nose cone penalty. If it's got pushed down, yeah, it's a nose cone, but that looks like it's been pushed up. So yeah, the bracket will have stayed attached. So he might get away with that one. So Guillaume Bernard under pressure now with the possible nose cone. That does look like it's dropped, unfortunately, for Hugo Buddy, well, Buddy Hugo, I should say, but certainly he's still having a good run. He's there in P9 at the moment after getting past Ralph Rakitis there, making his way through the field. And there you can see as well, Aleki Giannone just pulling out of the situation just in the background there, trying to get a move done, not able to do so, staying at the back of that group of 4. Back here, though, Mason Brooks behind Guillaume Bernard, and you would think now that these two would try and work together now, because Bernard looking like he's got some serious pace here.
Yeah.
And the chance of him being able to close up that 3-second gap to now Theo Bradshaw, apparently, as I think Abrahart's got the move done into 3rd now. So that would certainly make it very interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Abrahart's been putting in some really fast sectors. So he's definitely got his sights set on making his way up a few more positions.
Certainly does. Leo Living seeing a warning flag, the number 77, under the eyes of the stewards. So he's got to be careful here. As looking to the inside, nice dive down the inside for Ralph Rakitis, but just missing the braking zone and running wide on the exit. He has to give the position back to Leo Livings, who retakes that position. Back here at the front, though, no change between Spencer and Emerson McAndrew. And if anything, we're seeing a somewhat carbon copy of what we saw in the Bambino final here, aren't we? We're seeing 2 drivers breaking away, and it's just going to be a fight on that last lap. So, ladies and gents, you might need to sit back and get the popcorn ready, because we're going to have to wait a few minutes before something kicks off, I think, between these two. Unless there's a chink in the armoury, unless there's a mistake by a driver or anything like that, which running wide out of turn 1 might be a mistake, and Emerson McAndrew taking full advantage of that one and goes for the lead of the race. Crucially, though, that didn't waste any time, and that's the pinnacle moment thing. Yeah, because even with Guillaume Bernard and Mason Brooks having very good speed, fastest laps for Mason Brooks just there, they're still about 4 seconds off the lead. Yeah. And that's only because they're being consistent with their lap times. Again, consistency is key in motorsports, and if you can just keep putting in those lap times, time after time, you'll be fine. You know, you may not have the outright fastest lap of the race, but if you can only do that lap once and then the rest of them are slow, then yes, you'll never catch. So you need to be able to maintain that pace all the way throughout. 5 minutes to go, and Mackenzie Irwin and Spencer still lead the way. 1/10 of a second between the two of them. This battle here is still kicking off just in the background as well. This is Guillaume Bernard and Mason Brooks as they do their best to try and close in on Theo Bradshaw, which I think they are actually starting to do, because there, Maximilian Aberhart has broken away from Bradshaw, and if anything, I think he's closing in on these two up ahead. The gap's 1.1. What's it going to be when they next cross the timing beam? Is it going to be less? Is it going to be less than a second? It might possibly be as they go through. They break the timing beam now as they go into the corner. It is. It's less than a second.
He definitely got a move on that last lap.
Aberhart's closing in. Yeah, he's got a wiggle on here, has Maximilian Aberhart, and he's smelling out an E-plate, I think. He is eyeing up one, isn't he? Definitely. He's putting in the fastest lap last lap. So he can definitely see that it's possible to catch up to that small train of 2. Because he's definitely left Theo Bradshaw behind now. And doing this is impressive. You know, you've got no bump draft, you've got no slipstream, you're doing it by yourself. You know, those two, the 4 wheels, we always say, oh dear, that's gone wrong. And off the track goes Sebastian Behrman, and that's a disaster, because Sebastian was running quite far up in the order. Actually, he's dropped down now to the back of the field, and he's out of this race. So hopefully he's all right. He was walking away from the kart, so that was good to see. But back at this, like we were saying, you know, 8 wheels works better than 4, you know, because you're working together, you've got the slipstream, you've got the bump draft, you're just cutting a hole for each other out of the air. And Maximilian Aberhart, he doesn't have that. So the fact that he's able to close in like this is good. While we've been talking about that, the gap has extended to over a second again on that last lap. So, you know, it's fluctuated for the time being, and another lock up there for Spencer. So again, Spencer with a very tentative setup there with the brakes. It's locking up quite easily. And he's got to be careful with that, because you don't want to flat spot these tyres too much.
And although the gap to third is over a second now, still not huge. He's definitely got them in his sights, and these two will definitely battle towards the final laps. So I'm sure Max Eberhardt feels like he's in an okay position right now.
He does. So, but again, race is far from over between these two because, again, essentially at this point, they just become frenemies, as I like to call it. Enemies and friends. You know, I'm going to be a friend because I want to work with you to try and break away from the rest of the pack. But I'll see your enemy because I'm going to go for the lead of this race as soon as I can.
Interesting dynamic, actually, to watch the drivers work together. Yeah.
And it is an interesting dynamic because when you see the different drivers working together, when you get the teammates work together, like this, they usually do quite well. Because right now you've got Bradshaw and Kean Bernard who have now latched onto the back of each other. They'll decide amongst themselves who wants to lead this one, and Bradshaw has taken upon that Bernard has taken upon that himself to say he's going to lead, but the two mates break the cardinal rule of motorsport. Don't hit your teammate, and both of them just did that when they went wheel to wheel at the exit of Ashby, and now Mason Brooks has closed back up. So these two, they're not going to work together. And like I say, it's a one-off. And again, they do the same down into the boot section there, and Mason Brooks goes through and splits them back up again. So Kean Bernard, who is trying to get in as many positions as he possibly can, now he's hit the wall. Now he's hit the wall and he's going to have to fight for these next positions. Now he's going to have to fight all the way to the end of this race because there's only a minute and a half to go, plus that one lap. And Bradshaw is still holding on to fourth place for the time being. We'll have to keep a close eye on that one. Back here at the front, though, Emerson McAndrew-Urin, Spencer from Aberhart. They still battle away. No change here. Brooks hasn't taken the opportunity to gain another position here. He has stayed behind. He has stayed right there. Spencer's still not looking for the overtake either. Again, it's just basically, this is a champagne bottle. It's been shaken, shaken, shaken. We're waiting for it to pop.
Yeah.
No. Again.
Oliver Spencer just waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah. Just sussing.
Doesn't want to go too early.
No. Because, again, well, it's a fine line in karting. You can go with like 2 laps to go and then you've got to defend for 2 laps, but then you've got to defend for 2 laps. Or you could wait until the last lap where you might not make the move and then you haven't got any more time to try again. So, you know, it's just that fine line of getting it right. If you are going to wait for the last lap, you've got to be 100% confident in yourself and the kart that it has got what it takes to get that move done. And right now, I think both of these karts have got what it takes to make those moves done. So honestly, it could go either one of these two drivers. For the favourite this weekend, it's been Emerson McAndrew-Urin with his good results over it. And then you've had Oliver Spencer, who has been the favourite of many as well. You know, the O-plate in this class from this year. But as well, it's between one of these two. We just don't know who it's going to be. Timer strike 0 then as we go on to the last lap. Last boards come out on the screen. Here we go then through turn 1, Oblivion. Aberhart again with the fastest lap of the race. He is going to be in a prime opportunity as these two now start to defend. Emerson McAndrew-Urin dips to the inside. Spencer takes the normal line. He'll have to switch back here, but he's on the outside and he'll go the long way round through the kink. That's absolutely fantastic for Oliver Spencer. He gets into the lead and now Max Aberhart has closed in. It's 1, 2, 3 for the E-plate here. And is the O-plate going to turn into the E-plate here? The Open champion could be the English champion as well in Micromax in 2023. But out of Augiers they go, down into the boot section for the final time. And again, McAndrew-Urin not going for the move to the inside here. He might go for the move for the inside here as he does go wheel to wheel. The two of them absolutely side by side, and contact between the two of them. Aberhart comes through, side by side, and into the barrier goes Spencer. Aberhart's going to take it. Maximilian Aberhart for RCE will be English champion as the two collide through the final corner. And Spencer makes heavy contact with the tyre barrier. And he is out of the race. The kart damaged. His English championship fight ends at the final corner. Well, I hope he's okay, but the two, it was always going to go somewhat like that. The two were not going to give up the position. Both of them fighting for that spot. And unfortunately for Oliver Spencer, he ends it at the back of the grid in P11, broken at the side of the circuit. At the end of that one, McAndrew-Urin did cross the line in second place, some 2/10 down from Maximilian Aberhart, but your man would take it from Emerson McAndrew-Urin. Maximilian Aberhart is your English champion after 15 laps of racing for the RCE team. And, well, Maximilian Aberhart is under investigation now, potentially, for causing that one through the final corner, we're being told. So the race far from over. That might change by the time we get to the podium. But between now and then, it is Max Abrahart who takes the win from Emerson McAndrew. And Mason Brooks then finishes in third place after gaining 6th position from Cian Bernard, gaining 8. Theo Bradshaw gaining 5, finishing in 5th place from Arthur Farrow. Leo Livings finishing in P7. Brilliant drive, gaining 3 places from Buddy Hugo. Ralph Rakatis finishing in 9th place from Achille Giannone, finishing in 10th place. The 2 retirements, Spencer and Sebastian Behrman, unfortunately at the side. But we'll be heading down to Parc Fermé in a short time. Hayley McFarther is down there. Hayley, over to you.
All right, we're here after the end of a very dramatic race, and I've got Max, my winner, here with me. Congratulations on your E-plate. How was that last lap?
It was intense. It was very intense. I thought they had it until they started scrapping coming into the boot, and I saw a gap and I went for it.
Well done. You kept yourself in very good position, very fast lap times all throughout the race. Did you think that you were on for a P1, or was it a shock at the end of the race there?
It was a very big shock. I've never actually got on the podium at British, so I'm very happy.
Amazing. Congratulations. Is there anyone else you want to thank?
I want to thank my dad, I want to thank Force, I want to thank David RCE, and I want to thank Enardo and the Pallet Company.
Amazing. Enjoy your E-plate. Congratulations. See ya. All right. Now we'll move on to our 3rd place. All right. We've got Mason Brooks here. Congratulations on your P3. Was that a surprise, or did you know that you had yourself in a good position when everything went all wrong at the start? Surprise. And how was that race for you? So you managing to get into that P5 position there. How was it tackling with others on the track?
Good.
And how does it feel to race in the E-plate championships in the one-off race?
Good, and this is my first time in Rotax.
Amazing. How are you enjoying it?
Good, like it.
Perfect. Was there anybody else you want to thank today?
My mechanic, my mum, the engine, and my family for watching and supporting me.
Perfect. I'm sure you've got some family watching at home just now.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. Perfect.
Thank you.
See you on the podium later.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Now we've got our P2. Little bit of a race debrief between the drivers here. All right, we've got Emerson here. How was that? A little bit of a dramatic ending there, but talk us through the race and how it felt.
Yeah, I just had to push away with Ollie, and coming down to the last lap, I hit the curb in Christmas, which forced me wide. And then coming into the boot, I went up the inside. Abrahart hit me from behind, so I ran into Ollie. Then he just went through. Then Ollie and Abrahart closed in, and I had nowhere to go.
A little bit of an unfortunate ending in P2. I'm sure you were after that plate, but you had a very strong weekend and fast lap times all throughout. What was your trick to that? What was the trick for getting around Whilton Mill very fast?
Well, it's one of our home tracks, so we've done here a lot, so we're quite used to this track.
Perfect. And is there anyone else you'd like to thank today?
I'd like to thank DHR, Sam Racing Engines, Russ, Daryl, and all my family and people who supported me.
Perfect. I'm sure you've got a few watching as well. Congratulations on your P2.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, so that was our top 3 from that very dramatic race, maybe a little bit different than we expected, and I've learnt my lesson from making predictions. So I'll pass back up to commentary now, and we get ready for our next race of the afternoon.
Making predictions is a very risky thing to do. But yes, more races coming up because the Rumble in the Jungle is coming up next, Honda Cadet. But before that, we will take a short break. Do not go anywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the podium 3rd place in the Micromax UK and the first of the E-Plate champions in this one. But please welcome first 3rd place for the Zip Factory karting team, the GP Plate, Kian Bernard. Kian, that's 2nd place. Kian, nice try there, mate, nice try. Dan Parker will present the trophies and the 3rd place cap there. A brilliant result. A GP plate and nearly, very nearly, a E-plate here. Please welcome then onto the podium, finishing in 2nd place, just 3.4 seconds behind, the number 84 for Argenti Motorsport, Mason Brooks. A fabulous result for Mason. He'll be certainly delighted with that one. You're going to have to swap hats for that one, Mason. Good lad, good lad. And trophy high up in the air and big smiles for Chris Walker for the photos. There we go. Good lad, good lad. And then finally, ladies and gents, please welcome onto the podium the first English champion for Micromax in 2023. After 15 laps of racing for Dan Holland Racing, please welcome Emerson McAndrew-Urin. And please welcome his winning mechanic, Wayne McAndrew-Urin, onto the podium as well, please. Wayne, don't hide, don't hide. Thank you very much. Get up there onto your pedestal. Thank you very much. There we go. Emerson McAndrew-Urin having a fabulous result in this one, gaining 1 position and going away with the E-plate and a beautiful trophy, and his mechanic and dad, Wayne McAndrew-Urin, winning the best mechanic. As the photos get taken, ladies and gentlemen, please, one final round of applause for your Micromax finalists and E-plate winners, Kian Bernard, Mason Brooks and Emerson McAndrew-Urin. One down. No. Don't forget your helmets. Thank you very much.